Here we're looking at Catherine O'Russell, the wife of Tamerlan Seneva, who committed the Boston Marathon bombings. And I'm going to look at Patricia and Pasquale DeVito, and I'll leave a picture of how the DeVitos are involved with my daughter. And we're going to look at Lindsay Vanderhoof, also known as Lindsay Garrett. And Bill Garrett was a member of the same church as Robert Allen Nilram and Don Nilram, who I alleged kidnapped my daughter. And there we see Leanne Russell. I'm not saying that everyone that may have known these boys is involved, but we'll go back to Laconia. And we're looking at the Laconia Day 1 trial of Kenton Giuliano. And this was an arson trial. Kenton Giuliano is the son of Roxanne Giuliano, a Human Rights Commission investigator. She was assigned to my case regarding Michael DeRose, who owned, at the time, a Kirby dealership, which is a derivative of Scott Fetzer, called DeRose and Associates. And as you can see, we have Thomas Aaron Clark involved as the informant. And the attorney alleges, Albert Hansen, alleges that there was no actual forensic evidence tying or linking Giuliano to the fires. This is important because we have established that Clark was already an informant and was not notified in trial. We also have a third witness, Richard Nolan, who hung out with Thomas also. And we also have the Perrys involved. So all of these individuals may have participated in falsifying evidence on Kenton Giuliano to obstruct justice in a Human Rights Commission investigation and also an immigration investigation. In that case with DeRose, there was another party who was also in that complaint, and he was from Tanzania. And James E. Mapunga is an illegal immigrant that has been deported several times. He falsely represented himself as a U.S. citizen. He originally was from New Hampshire. He then obtained false U.S. passports to enter through Canada, so he ended up being arrested in Canada as well. And as you can see, he originated from New Hampshire, although this case takes place in Michigan. So we have the Perrys, Thomas Aaron Clark, the Emorys, Vanderhoof, and the Russells, who knew the Boston Marathon bombers, all involved in possibly falsifying evidence against Kent and Giuliano to obstruct an immigration law case. And Thomas Clark is related to Diana Ogle, and his brother is Paul Clark, and they tried to traffic my daughter and got caught with Robert Allen Nilram, and that is what I am in a legend. And Thomas Clark was a practicing occultist, and if you look into some fringe groups in Africa, or it had emerged from Africa, though this is debatable, you have a group called the Order of Nine Angles, which is said to have originated in Tanzania. And James Mapunga also worked for Bakrishi Group. Through Razam Foods. And you can actually view his resume right here, where he claims to work for Razam Foods, which is a derivative of Bakrishi Group. He also apparently was in London, so you may have 3-4 countries involved in his deportation. That one's not very clear. And Bakrishi Group is not registered for importation in the United States. So what was he really doing? And you can get an essay on the structure of all the derivative companies. It's actually pronounced Bakrishi Group, so I apologize if I pronounced it wrong before. And they may have even links with the Rwanda genocide, but that's a little bit more of an extensive history. And they even own media. Look at that.